prize money and saying that both of these players at least have $200 in the bank. The winner of this will get at least $400 because they go into the grand finals already. The loser of this plays in the loser bracket finals as well. So let's see how this goes. ByuN versus Stats. Obviously, this is not Stats on the top. It is Stats on the bottom. And he spawns as a purple Pros player here on Frost for game 1 of this best of 3 series. As we have to the top left-hand side, our Teal Terran player, it is ByuN. Alright, just because I was eating and stuff, I haven't updated things as I should have done. So let me just open the title of the stream, for example. Let me just update the Team Liquid thread, just so people see that it's Stats vs ByuN, because then people will be like, wow, what a great match, let's come watch it. Perfect. So, we should all be updated then. Perfect. So Stats vs ByuN, best of 3 series. An exciting one. ByuN, the real king of the Leifeng Cup, of online cups in general. We'll be very excited to see how he does at BlizzCon. BlizzCon starts tomorrow. Well, not BlizzCon, but the WCS Global Playoffs start tomorrow. I believe they start from about 6 p.m. CEST. They'll be live every single day for about 4 days in a row. So make sure you tune into those. It's going to be incredible games. We're going to be casting around those. We'll be casting kind of this sort of time again for the next couple of days. And probably not on Saturday, then we will be on Sunday. And on Monday we'll do the DSEL. And that will be that. We're going to be going to BlizzCon on Tuesday next week. So that's really exciting. Obviously you can look forward to a lot of content from us from BlizzCon. But until then, we will have a few streams for you guys. We've also got our content coming up from WESG that I did a little bit of vlogging. I've got some Epic Land stuff as well. It's just going to be a couple of busy days of editing as well. So while BlizzCon's on, I'm going to be editing while watching, which will be lots of fun, actually. Going to look forward to that. As you do see this Reaper SCV of ByuN just nibbling away at this probe a little bit, getting it pretty low. You're going to see the command center drops down now from ByuN as well. So dropping that CC down, and ByuN actually just going to move back over to the left-hand side of the map to, well, he's done his scouting to the top right. Nothing is there. And so the Reaper will go down to the bottom left now, and either he's going to find his opponent bottom left, or he'll find his opponent cross-spawn in the second location he checks. And that's kind of the whole idea of this SCV scout at this sort of stage of the game, just to scout in such a way which allows you to, it allows you to scout with the Reaper so that you always find your opponent by the second location you check, rather than the final third location, because you've already checked that with the SCV. So that's nice. ByuN pops in with the Reaper in here in the early stages. Not really a lot to get done. I mean, hits onto a probe, but that's about it. He'll drop a grenade down as well, just for some mining. Very minimal things so far. As ByuN now backs away towards the ramp, just jumps down here as well, and continues to just back off a little bit. Robo Facility is on the way up from Stats. So Robo Facility is starting to build here. Starport is just starting from ByuN as well. Factory is finished up and starts to morph into build up a Widow Mine. A couple more Marines just popping out of this racks very shortly as well. So more units just continue to stroll on out here from ByuN in the early stages. I'm just going to be seeing the Mothership Core just backing away as well. What was the tournament of the Panda loading? That was the Leifeng Cup. Back in the day we weren't allowed into the games of the Leifeng Cup. Because players were about, the organisers were a little bit like, well, we don't want to scare the players off and give people replays and so on. But because we casted it for so long, and from the kind of stream and event, in the end we were able to cut a deal where we are allowed to go into the game of the Leifeng Cup, and nowadays we even get the replays. If we miss the Leifeng Cup, we get the replays to cast at a later date like this. So obviously quite fantastic. We do kind of give away like a couple of the Leifeng Cup replays and our replay packs as well to subscribers at the end of the month. So if you're a sub and you want replay packs, then get on it, because our next one will go out in just a few days' time. It will go out a little bit early. Usually it goes out at the very end of the month, or like the first of the month. It'll go out a little bit early this month, just because I'm going to be going to BlizzCon on the 1st, so I want to get sent out in plenty of time. Reaper goes down nice and quickly there, not really too much about that, as to see the Widow Mine drops getting set up. Going to come down the left-hand side and look to see what sort of location he can get into. So this Widow Mine drop coming down the left side and just, again, setting up here over the next few moments. A pylon dropping in just in the mineral line as well, and ByuN just sort of setting up and looking to see how things are going to be going. So ByuN just going to be moving forwards and seeing how things go now. As you're going to see Iraq's being added on, and yeah, Widow Mine just going to drop. Marines starting to unload as well, and ByuN just with plenty of units just going to start moving forwards towards this main base. Widow Mine burrows, and yeah, just going to start working his way through a couple of these probes. So a couple of probes going to start going down. Ooh, nice little Widow Mine connection there already. As Marines do load up. I mean, a Stalker and 2 probes is pretty nice. He actually relocates. He's going to play a little bit of cute micro to kill off this Adept, and this Marine as well should get saved. ByuN Of course he was. I mean, if it was any other player, I wouldn't have expected that Marine to stay alive there, but because it's ByuN, I completely expect it to not actually die. Now Marines will sort of die because he's trying to keep the medevac pin back, and it's working pretty well. Another Stalker going down, though. Only ByuN could trade this well throughout, as we see Widowmine the natural, and a Liberator coming into play as well. That Liberator sieges up in a position which is sort of interesting. We're going to see the Liberator resieging right now as Probe's still just looking around from stats, thinking about what sort of direction they might want to come in from. You can see that Widowmine gets taken down right there. And the stats, ooh, yeah, that Stalker's going to not have a good time if it runs in towards the Liberator. Stalker's coming in, oh, I like it, the little bit of micro here from stats as well. He's like, yeah, you know what, ByuN, I can be fancy too. Loses one Stalker, but still, much better trade than he would have got otherwise. And ByuN is going to still win out that fight. I mean, the Liberator's still doing a pretty decent job. Denying some mining time is always a pretty influential kind of part of the game. Going to see a couple of depots will come down here towards the front. We're going to be seeing Stimpak on the way up in this racks, and a couple more medevacs popping out of this starport as well. ByuN just getting ready to continue being aggressive over the next few moments. So the factory will lift, a reactor will place on down. I'm just going to be seeing ByuN again, setting up into this first game with a very standard sort of Terran setup. 2 observers at the same time here. Doesn't really add anything having 2 observers in the same place. As Marine's going to come out, finds a few Stalkers. Blink now finished up from stats, means these Stalkers can do a fair amount to the Marines, but with a tank here, you won't be able to push in too far at all. Another Stalker comes in as well from stats. And we just see a third base building from ByuN as well right now on the high ground. So third base coming up too right here. A couple of pylons will come down now from stats as well. So a couple of these pylons setting up at the front just defensively, just in case ByuN does get aggressive at any point in the near future, which is very, very possible. As we do just see Marines trying to pick off an observer. I think he got rid of it, right? I think so. I'm not 100% certain. Anyways, look at ByuN, the confidence now as he moves forwards with these tank vacs. Stalkers blink away in plenty of time. Could have blinked onto them, but that wouldn't have turned out too well for him, I don't think. So it would have been a bit of a mistake as we see Stalkers continue to take some damage. Nice little shots there from the siege tank just to help push those Stalkers away from the upper left-hand side of Frost right now. So the Stalkers get pushed away, and Observer moving forward some stats here. Looking to see what else is going on. Stats still just blinking away once again. This War Prism of stats still moving around. Trying to figure out what is going on. Trying to figure out where can he attack into. Behind all of this, he sets up his third base. So he's beginning to expand. A bit of a later expand than you might expect, considering it's coming down after a Robo Bay and after Colossus production begins. Bit of a safer third base then from stats, and for what purpose? Well, I'm not really too sure myself, because I don't feel as though ByuN's been overly aggressive or anything. So it is intriguing that stats puts his third nexus down so much later than he usually should do. As we see again, nice blinks away, just not letting these siege tanks get into a position to do damage. And by the time ByuN gets across the map to attack, he will have +1 Stimpak, that was already done. But also combat shields and concussive shells should be finishing, and those will be upgrades which help ByuN in the upcoming engagement. These few Stalkers are actually going to commit up there. This will be interesting. The Observer sees it coming in, the army turning back that is, and so he is able to pull the Stalkers away in plenty of time. Nice play by stats actually, forcing ByuN to slow down his attack here. Nice scan, gets rid of that Observer. ByuN making sure he's paying attention to where those observers might be to figure out how does his opponent figure out that these units are here. Blinks on in, Marauders are here though, and actually these Marauders will do a lot of damage. You can see those Stalkers dropping very quickly. Not a good blinking by stats, and ByuN continues to move forwards. Uh-oh, these Liberators not in the best positions. One goes down instantly. Tanks sieging up now as well though on the low ground as ByuN continues to push on forwards. A couple pylons to the left side as we mentioned before. Tanks pulling back, observers, sorry not observers, Overcharge is going to go down once again. Another Liberator just sieging up right now as, again, Widowmine just burrowing just towards the frontier, and this Bioforce getting set to run on forwards. Here we go, going to get rid of 1 pylon and 2. The third next under heavy fire with this Liberator, the Widowmines, and the siege tanks to play with. This is going to be a very tough position for Stats to fight back into and to retake his third base from. So this is going to be difficult for Stats over the next few moments as he has to find a way to fight this. Here you go, Colossi start to commit forwards, but the tanks will just shoot onto them. They do quite a lot of damage as the Liberator gets a shot or 2 off as well. Tanks just reposition slightly, still in range of the Nexus, which has now lost all of its shields. Its whole damage is taken. ByuN already set up in a concave, ready to leap on this army if it begins to move forwards for an engagement as well. The Marines will just move forwards, add a little bit of extra DPS onto the Nexus here, trying to make sure he's going to get rid of it, and I do not like this position at all for stats. He is down a third base very soon. I don't know where he goes from here. Cut off reinforcements, counterattack, whatever. It's not going to be pretty. The Nexus falls. This is one of the better positions for stats where ByuN has to sort of relocate before he can fight. So this is kind of stats' moment if he wants to take something here. It should be very, very shortly as these Stalkers continue to move up to this side. They're going to take the watchtower now. As ByuN's going to begin simming on forwards. A couple of force fields do go down here right on the get-go. Overcharge just going to drop down there onto that pylon. And we do just see again a couple of siege tanks from ByuN, Marines and Marauders and a Wood Mine setting up just below these medivacs as well. And this Liberator of ByuN just set up to, just waiting to see what's going to happen. I see a Colossus coming in from the left-hand side, going to try and see what he can get up to. This Colossus is taking a lot of damage right now. Oh no, this Colossus is having a really bad time here. Colossus falls. Marines will stem on in, as we're going to be seeing the tanks just going to try and reposition down to the low ground once again. Marines and Marauders seeing what they can do. So the Colossi are holding on for stats, but reality is the time is ticking before ByuN just gets enough units up to fight on into this. I mean, Colossi are kind of scary, but the reality is sheer numbers don't really care about the little bit of splash damage that Colossi are going to be doing. And sheer numbers is exactly the advantage ByuN will have in the very near future, as he cleans out this Warp Prism as well, gets rid of 3 Adepts alongside it. I mean, ByuN is still kind of being aggressive here with units he hasn't reinforced in a very long time. As soon as reinforcements begin to move forwards, ByuN will find himself in a position where, well, there's just not going to be that many units at all of stats, and he's just going to kind of have the time of his life moving forwards. He might want to just lift up and kind of jump into the main base here instead of continuing to fight as the tanks go down. I feel as though it's a better way for him to keep on trading, because now he's going to force the Colossi to come up. I mean, at least the Adepts aren't going to be here, right? So I think this is a bit of a better trade for him, as he does just trade out with the Stalkers here initially, and yeah, I mean, the rest of these units are eventually going to go down, but it's still pretty decent trades. Stats is going to take down these couple of Medivacs as well. And these Marauders will get taken down too. There's a few Vikings of ByuN just sitting out the front, looking to see what else is going on, looking to see what they can get done. Marines and Marauders coming down over the center as well, positioning themselves to see what they can get up to in the very near future. A few more Marines as well from ByuN just coming down this side and just getting set up and ready to attack on in the very near future. Just ByuN, again, with so many units here to attack with. You can see an Observer going down. Marines and Marauders just going to pick away at a probe or two, and Liberator sets up on this base as well. So the third base, as it gets ready to mine, is going to be denied mining almost instantly. I mean, we do see Stats able to come down the ramp, and he will deny the Liberator, but now he's used his Blink, which means that actually these Stalkers aren't going to have Blink for the engagement. They're disconnected from the rest of the army as well, so the Stalkers don't go down so quickly. Actually, the Colossi will go down because ByuN sends his Bio to the Stalkers, the Vikings to the Colossi. There's Sentries for anti-air, that's not enough. And ByuN, this is how he takes game number 1 of this best of 3. GG out of Stats. ByuN takes 1-0 lead now and will be putting himself in a good position here in the winner bracket final with 2 maps to kind of win. Here in the top side of Dasan, our Red Terran player, the god himself, it's ByuN. And our blue Protoss player to the bottom right is going to be Stats once again here, of course. He's just going to be starting to Chrono Boost away on this Nexus. So Chrono boosting away on the Nexus. Probes continuing to come in right now and just setting on up. I'm going to be seeing this refinery dropping down from ByuN over in the main base. So refinery drops down from ByuN over in the main. I'm just going to continue to set up into this right now as we see a depot coming in from ByuN at the front. It is gas first. So gas first aggression from ByuN from the get-go. I wonder why Dasan made it into the map pool though. Just in general, Dasan's not usually the map you expect to see in this sort of map pool. I mean, it's a map you see maybe sometimes in the best of 5, very rarely though in the best of 3. So TvP especially, because who's it even in balance for? You know, who's it even go in favor of in the TvP? I couldn't tell you. You know, like I look at this, I'm like, well, actually, I mean, it could be pretty good for Stats if he does some crazy Protoss nonsense. It's pretty good for Terran 1 base builds as well. So who does it really go in favor of? I have absolutely no clue. We will be finding out over the next few moments. As we're going to be seeing this Rax just going to be finishing up in the next few moments' time. And we're just going to be seeing the Nexus starting up from Stats in the back here. So, Nexus starts up. From Stats, a very standard build order, but it is again going to be aggression out of ByuN from the very get-go. Setting this up and looking to see how this happens. Factory comes down as well now out of ByuN, so just setting this up as well as we see him moving forwards with this SCV to build another depot. No real surprises here as we see a second gas coming down, and it will be most likely the reactor up next, and then just into like Tanker Vac / Cyclone based aggression. A build we've seen so often from Terran players. It's so weird because it actually was so popular at the start of Legacy of the Void, and then everyone was like, huh, I figured out how to hold this. And then it became such a thing again on Frozen Temple, and on Dasan Station 2 it can be very, very powerful. Now the defense here from Stats should consist of a Robo Facility, but also 2 gateways afterwards. If you go Robo Twilight, what you will find, Robo Twilight, what you will find is that you're going to be being way too greedy against what the Terran player is doing, and that you will very quickly start to lose out on a heck of a lot of units. So that's obviously not what you want to have happen. So that's something which Stats has to be very careful of, not being too greedy. So Robo, 2 extra gates should be a perfect way to defend this. Anything which just gets him enough units out, you know, and that's the thing, you know, getting enough units out really requires the 3 gateways. So, I mean, even like a Stargate and 3 gates as well could work too. And in some ways I kind of prefer the Stargate as well. Actually, Stargate is very good as kind of defending against this sort of aggression. And there is a Stargate dropping down right now. Stargate against one base Terran player is very, very, very powerful. It's really good because the Oracle can be very good at counterattacking, the Phoenix can be very good at lifting Widow Mines, the tank, picking off Medivacs and Liberators. So this is going to be a very interesting one. This is really going to be a hyper-aggressive game. And it's going to be like non-stop, I think, because I think once ByuN starts to attack in the next few moments, he's going to be attacking until either he has to tap out or Stats has to tap out of this game. And Deft here just patrolling backwards and forwards. Pylon coming up at the front. There's the 2 extra gates. So as we mentioned, any sort of tech structure with the 2 extra gates will be good, apart from the Twilight Council, because the Twilight doesn't give you the units immediately. The Twilight Council, it, makes other units better, but the upgrade time is quite long. So anything that's like a Stargate or a Robo with 3 gates should be good. As here we go, Cyclone pressure will begin. I mean, there's a Pylon here to begin with, which will slow down ByuN quite significantly. He will want to try and lock onto that, maybe get rid of it. He's actually going to just start dropping over to this direction here in the corner. Phoenix coming up as well, which means he can lift up the Cyclone, get rid of a lock-on, which is very important. This overcharge comes down, and here comes the Phoenix coming in. These Adepts are trading pretty well as well, as the Cyclone just get lifted, so now I can't go in towards the Medivac. And we're just going to be seeing the Medivac backing away. Cyclone is abandoned. He should be able to lift this up, though, and you will get it away. So a lot of Marines killed off, though, and actually, to be fair, look at units lost. 5 Marines for 1 Adept. Good defense so far by Stats, as now ByuN will come up. He'll start at work as well on this Pylon. But look how many pylons there is to work with here. Another one behind it, so Stats has so much time, and he's going to use the Phoenix again, just come in, just make sure you can stop that Cyclone from doing too much. The Adept Shade force forcing the Marines back, which means actually the Cyclone goes down now, and oh no, this is a really not a good engagement at all from ByuN. He's going to lose this Medivac as well, and now, all of a sudden, we're going to see another tank about to drop too. So this tank's about to go down, these Marines are still trading out here, the Adepts are about to go down, but after so much damage already dealt, there goes the tank, there goes these last 2 Marines, and ByuN, his attack here is completely shut down. It achieves absolutely nothing. Wow, absolutely incredible. We're going to see the Cyclone locking on. We are going to be seeing this Adept just taking a little bit more damage. You're actually going to see a Viking coming out. Well, the Phoenix are going to get rid of that pretty quickly. A Viking, a very weird way to go. I mean, I guess with multiple Vikings, you can kind of kite the Phoenix to some extent, but man, I just don't think that's where you want to be at this sort of point in the game. A Cyclone just pick off 1 Phoenix now, but there's so many Adepts on the ground as well. This Cyclone gets lifted. 1 Phoenix, another one of them going down now as well. A Siege Tank comes in as well. We're going to see the Cyclone will end up falling. The Adept's going to get rid of that here. Phoenix are now going to go up against a Viking once again. The Adept's still trading here, trying to get rid of the tank. I mean, it's slow to get rid of the tank, but they will get it eventually. Although only 2 Adepts remaining, and actually these Marines are going to help out a lot. So ByuN will hold on. Another Phoenix coming in, and honestly, you could just lift the tank, get rid of that. That's a huge pick off here. And you can see ByuN recognize it, trying to pull it back away, trying to get towards the mineral line where you can repair it or so, get some more Marines out to try and protect it. Not going to happen, no. And ByuN is really hurting here in game number 2. Stats in a great position. Behind all of this, he already had a natural expansion, remember. His 3rd base now sets up on the gold as well. And he just keeps on making Adepts, and they attack across the map so quickly. These Phoenix help out a lot too. That 1 Phoenix has to be so careful, it's so low. I was going to see the Phoenix, well, Adepts commit forwards. The Phoenix commit onto the Cyclone, he lifts up again. The Marines try to target the Phoenix down, but it just doesn't have enough. The Marines here, the Viking does get the kill. It's actually going to be seen the first I see on the low ground gets cancelled. Viking gets lifted up now as well, so that's not even going to do anything. Would have been better to leave it lifted. I guess it wastes some energy on these Phoenix, but this is pretty much game at this point. We're just waiting for ByuN to type out. There it is, GG. Stats is going to take game number 2, and we're all tied up. And just let you guys enjoy the game. As to the top left-hand side, we do have the blue Terran player. It is Team Expert ByuN. And down to the bottom right, our red Protoss player is Stats. As we set up into game number 3 of this best of 3 series. We're having some good games today. I mean, Cyan Ryong went to all 3 games as well. That's pretty sweet. ByuN Stats now to all 3 games as well. And actually, the Stats Cyan series was super long no matter what anyways. So, that was also pretty cool. That was some really good games so far today. It's pretty interesting. As you just said on a PN race, wait to see what's going to happen. I mean, right from the get-go, we could talk a little bit about this gas first play from ByuN. There's not too much to say about it, though, really, because... Is it gas first? Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about it, really, because there's not really a lot that's kind of... there's not really kind of too much of a difference to what we saw earlier already, so... Pretty interesting. pretty interesting. As we set on up here. Let's see if you can hide off to the side. And there's a proxy factory. Alright. So, that does get me interested because this is very different from ByuN. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued, actually. Factory on the way up. I'm just going to be seeing it about halfway done very soon. Now, look at stats. Also looking to be very aggressive here. He's going to have a pylon coming in towards the center. And he's just going to be able to kind of pop down like a Stargate, I guess, is kind of the main thing he's going to build with a proxy in this location. Has to be a Stargate, because nothing else can kind of get over those rocks super easily, apart from like a Warp Prism Robo play. So there we go. Stargate drops on down. I'm just going to be seeing the Nexus is on the way up from stats as well. So stats is coming up for Nexus coming up for stats. I mean, ByuN is completely committed to one base. That's something which stats at this point has not seen. So you'll be a little bit disappointed with this when this Stargate comes up, because it means that whatever ByuN is doing off of one base, he's not going to have much of a defense for. And the Widowmine play especially, I mean, yes, he'll get an Oracle out, but the last thing he wants to be doing with Proxy Oracle is pulling Oracles back home to just very simply put down Revelations and to scout and to detect Widowmines. So this is not going to be a good start from stats at all. I love this build from ByuN. It's going to put him into great position here as Marines gathering up on the low ground as well. First Widowmine drop getting set to go very soon. I love the Burrow over Widowmine as well, just in case anything comes in to scout this here, it will get the kill. If anything comes in to try and deny it, it will get the kill. And that's really, really nice as well. And that's just going to be seeing. This SCV just patrolling backwards and forwards here between these between this factory and between the starport as a single adept does shade on forwards. And you will scout this. I mean, that's stage 1 to realizing this. So this first Oracle can come back home. I mean, it's sort of weird because do you attack? Do you come back home? You can sort of do either or. Actually, if he attacks, he could kill enough SCVs to make it worthwhile, but then he isn't going to have detection to clean up the Widow Mines, and that will hurt him. So he is going to attack. Maybe the second Oracle goes back home, and this first Oracle just continues to pressure because there isn't anything in this main base, so ByuN will take a lot of damage. Widowmine's burrow, 1 worker goes down initially. Good defense so far actually by stats just by splitting his workers away effectively. That's 2 workers killed for 2 Widowmine shots, as this Oracle doing a pretty good job over here though, as we're going to see multiple workers going down, and maybe ByuN is the one who's going to end up in a little bit of trouble. That said, Marines move in towards the natural mineral line. Now Stats is going to lose a lot of these probes, nothing he can really do about it because the Adepts are out of position. 11 workers killed, but the Oracle now out of energy, as the last few probes going to go down from the natural. Every single one of the natural falls, so it's 11 workers lost apiece, but Stats maintains an 8 worker lead, as an expansion ahead if he can keep holding on. The problem is, though, he's got no Mothership Core with this build, so there's no overcharges, and ByuN obviously recognizes this as well. This Widowmine is targeted actually onto those pros. Big connection! It splashes the Adepts as well, getting them even lower, and all of a sudden, Stats goes from being in a great position to being in a little bit of trouble here. We're going to see these Marines dropping down once again. You're going to be seeing a couple of probes continue to take a little bit more damage, and we're going to see these Adepts moving forwards as well. Looking to see what else is going on, looking to see what else they can get up to. And we're just going to be seeing the... Well, 22 workers killed is insane. This Oracle getting ready to go back in. This next Oracle comes home knowing he needs to detect these Widow Mines at some point. But now there's a Cyclone over here, Liberate as well. There's still not a Mothership Core, and that's going to slow down absolutely none of this, which means ByuN just sticks around this sort of location. The Cyclone does not lock on. I'm not sure what happened there exactly. Liberate can get rid of the Oracle though eventually. And Stats is going to type out the GG for ByuN to take game number 3. And he moves into the grand final of the event here today. He goes to... he's going to take home at least 400